Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then hi. I'm making little foods. Little tiny foods. This one I've already done. It's polymer clay, and I suddenly realised the camera wasn't recording, so I'm going to make another one. I'm using Fimo and the black block, little small black block. Somebody sent me them ages ago and they never let me know who they were. And I thought I'm going to try them this time because I like this stuff. This stuff is so soft and lovely, but this Fimo is really hard for my hands. So I'm going to show you a trick to get around the stiffness of it, because you do have to manipulate it. This is to say thank you to my members, my subscribers, my watchers, my likers, my commenters, all of you that watched right to the end. You are super beans, and I love you all. Yeah. So yeah, I'm using these tiny little cutters that I got from Temu, and I've made a little triangle, and I'm rolling the edge around my needle tip tool just to get that crust. Now, I didn't think about making the colour of the cheese a bit yellower, although to me this is your strong cheese. I like strong cheese. Don't like me, but I like cheese. And I've put that out as thin as I possibly could, and then cut out what looks like drippy cheese. And I'm adding that to it and just moulding it around the actual shape of the pizza. And now I was going for pepperoni, but I think they've ended up looking more like tomatoes. So either or, doesn't matter. And they are very, very thin. Very thin. That's why I had to scrape it up with my knife. And I'm just using my dotting tool just to give it a bit more shape. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the white just to give it some little bits of detail. And then what I'll do as well is I'm going to put the little screw thing in the top. I don't know why I did that, because it didn't really make much difference with the needle tip. And you put that in the top and bake it with it in. That makes it more secure. And it saves you using glue, because it just works a treat. And you can use glue at the same time if you want. These are chalks. Now, I've painstakingly sat and scraped the heck out of chalk sticks just to get the powders. It was a fun afternoon. Actually, I did quite enjoy it. And I'm just using these ones to colour it, to make it look a bit more like bread. Like it's cooked. And I think it worked, because underneath it looks like it's just come off your baking tray. Like it's just nicely cooked. And I really enjoyed making that one. So cute. Different sizes, they're not the same, but that doesn't matter. I really thought I could have done a huge piece of pizza and then cut it in slices. Now, this is the trick to being able to manipulate your clay. Cut it into tiny, tiny pieces, then smush it together. Cut it up again into tiny, tiny pieces, smush it together. It's a lot easier than having to use your hands. And because of how tiny I want these, using the pasta maker is not a good thing, because it's just a waste, and I'll probably end up losing it because it's just a tiny amount. So now I am making... Oh, what am I making? Something with yellow on it. Oh, wacky thump. Oh, yes, I know, I remember now. I'm making a piece of toast with a fried egg and a bit of butter. Can't beat a bit of butter. Say that 10 times fast. So I've mixed it to make it a lighter brown with just some ordinary white. And although this square is too big, that's fine, because I'm going to mush it around a bit to make the actual toast shape. And I'm using my dotting tool just to pinch the top of the bread in to make it look like a slice, and then using it to make like an inlay inside of it. So it looks like it's now got a crust. Now for the eggy wig. I'm using just a little bit of white to make that the whites of the egg, and I don't want it too thick either, and I make a size and it's too big, so I roll it out again, and I do cut off pieces at a time because it's still too big for me, because I don't want it to be overtaking the toast. I just want it like it's sat there, because I want to put some butter on as well. Now that worked perfectly, but like I said, I do trim it a little bit more because it's a bit too big. So it looks pretty decent as an egg, and I do like a good chunky egg. And I'm just giving it a little bit more detail just to make it look as though it's just come out of the pan. And I put a little few dots in to give it a more bready texture, and a little slice of the yellow clay just to make it look like butter. Don't really do much anything to it, it's just perfect the way it is. And again, I'm putting in the little top, just smushing it around a little bit more, making sure it's in. And the next one, oh, I forgot, I put a little bit of a white shine on it just to make it look more eggy and deepened around the edge. Now I could have put a bit of chalk on the egg, but I didn't. I changed my mind, and I'm still going around the back, so it still looks a decent piece of bread. You don't want a flat back, a boring back. And now my cat's just decided that she's coming to sit on me while I chat to you all. Oh my god, she's a heavy lump. She likes to sit on my shoulder. Oh, I'll put some chalk on the bread to just tone it down a bit more, so you can see the yellow in the little pips that I made with a dotting tool. So that's number 2. Now number 3. Yeah. I mushed the heck out of this one, but I wanted a pinker colour. Not just red, not just white. And I don't know if you can hear this. That's my cat. She's purring a little head off, and she just rubbed her nose all over the microphone. Scruffy mare. I'm making a donut. Not just any donut, an iced donut. Now, I do have little tools to create holes and stuff like that, but you can use a straw, you can use your dotting tool to push through, anything. You don't have to have the specific tools. I just got these. I got 2 lots of them, and I don't know how. Don't even know when I bought them. Could have been years ago for all I know. So now I'm just making sprinkles, and wow, my eyes struggled with these. I could not see them at all. I'm like, what the heck? So I am looking through my magnifying glass at this point. And I'm making the donut hole a little bit bigger, and I'm going to put some icing on the top. Now, I do make some of these sprinkles a little bit too big, and I cut them down again. And I was looking at this thinking, can I go around it? Shall I go over it? What shall I do with it? And I changed my mind about going around it and just use the same idea as before and just put a hole in it. I cut out the piece I wanted first, and then put the hole, smushed it on, and then made sure it looked like it was stuck down with the dotting tool. And then I did some more sprinkles because I wanted a lighter colour. And you'd think by now I'd learned to put the knife down while I'm doing stuff. I kept holding it in my hand. I'm an idiot. I'm going to end up chopping a finger off one of these days. So I cut up some more sprinkles. I've got red, I've got yellow, and I've got orange. I really should have done a blue, I think. Oh well. But now it's time to put them on. And I don't use glue for anything. While it's uncooked, then you just press it down and it's fine. And besides that, I am going to use some UV resin to coat these, just to make them look shiny and give them a bit more strength. Excuse me. But I do like the donut. It's quite pretty. I do try and make a savoury, a snack, a meal, main meal, and a pudding. I think I did that. So you got your pizza for your dinner, or a donut for snack. See, that could be a carrot cake donut. It could be anything. Something healthy. Yeah. Oh, and I also do a starter, which is this. And I'm now making a breadboard, just out of chalk and white. Just to make the actual board. I don't want it to be too big, because obviously it's going to be put onto a charm bracelet. This is why I'm making charms. I do make the bracelet a little bit too big, basically because I can't undo the clasp and then put it on by myself. And it was after clock as usual, so I just made it a bit bigger. Now this is my biscuit base, not the bread, I've got the wrong one. This is going to be the cheesecake, and it's going to be a lemon drizzle cheesecake. Yeah, I do like a lemon drizzle. And I put some little bits of fruit on the top too. I'm not keen on this. I think I could have done much better than this. And I think I'll do another one at some point, because I'm not a fan of it. I think I need the biscuit base to be darker. I think, I don't know, more texture on the cheesecakey bit. And yeah, definitely more texture. So now I've got my little bits. I'm going to put some lemon icing on, or sauce, lemon sauce, and the little tiny fruits on the top. They're just going to be berries. I was thinking of doing a lemon slice, but then I thought, well, need some contrast because it seems very bland looking. So yeah, I went with berries instead. And I've just got the sauce on top. Teeny tiny berries, which are just tiny balls of red polymer clay, which I will stick a hole in the middle, or press a hole into the middle, and the mint leaf, will be in between the two. I mean, everything's so tiny, and this camera's really struggling to figure out what I'm doing. I've even got stabilisation on, and it's still wobbling all over because everything's just so small. I mean, that leaf, I had to slice it off the thing so you could actually see it. And there we are, number 4. I think I do one more. You don't really need a lot of charms on a bracelet. But I was thinking of doing a series of these. I'm just making a bunch to put in a box, because I have ideas coming out of my ears. And I'm going to need stuff like this. Some of the ideas I've got. Tell you, by the time I get through with these ideas, there's going to be at least 5 years worth. It's ridiculous. My brain never shuts up. Now this is my board. This is my cheese board. I'm going to make some cheese and some crackers. What else did I make on it? Was it just cheese and crackers? It could very well be. Yes, I think it is. Cheese and crackers and a bit of butter. Oh, me and butter. I'm never going to be a skinny mini. I like food. And cheese. Cheese is my biggest downfall. I try not to buy it, because I would eat the lot. But this is like my little chopping board. And I'm going to put some lines on it and make it look like wood. And then go over the top with some darker brown. I forgo the brush at this point and just use my fingers. So I need to make the Edam cheese, and that stuff's got plastic, red plastic on it. Well, it's not plastic, it's rubber. It's not rubber, it's wax. Oh my god. You all know what I mean, I'm sure. So I need to make a little triangle of cheese, but then I changed my mind and make it into, like, well, it is a triangle, I suppose. But I need to wrap that cheese with some red. So I put on as much as I can, and then I cut off that red just to make it look how I need it to be. And it's still not quite the right shape that I want. So once it is, I put it on, and I also use the leftover white and put a slice of cheese on. I've also got a little beige ball just there, and I'm just going to make little crackers, and I'm going to use my pokey tool, no, my knife, I use my knife, sorry, just to make some like indentations as though they're crackers. Now again, in hindsight, I don't think there was much of a contrast. I think I should have made the wood a bit darker or lighter. Either way, it needed more oomph. So now I'm just making crumbs and putting them all over, so somebody's eating the half-eaten cracker. And then I'm going to put my little ring thing in at the top. I think these were Parmesan. I think they were, yeah. And yeah, cheese and crackers. So all of them are done, and I'm going to now put them in the oven and wait for them to cook. So now it's time to put the resin on. I did put it on my mat to start off with, and then I just gave up on that idea and just put a drop on each one. With it being so tiny, one drop does enough. That is enough there to cover each one. And I would just scrape it up to the mat. That was just driving me nuts. As you can see, I've got a little mountain of Fimo there. And the reason I've not touched it before is because I didn't know how to get it manipulated so I could actually work with it. Now, I watched somebody. She does some amazing things with polymer clay. And she chopped it all up. She even added a drop of baby oil just to get it softened. Now, I have done that baby oil trick with a different project because it really needed it. It was so hard, and it had been through my pasta machine no end of times, and I still couldn't work with it. I mean, some of this stuff's like old. I mean, I've had some of this clay, the ones in the square packets, for years. They were the range by years ago. And since I've used that other polymer clay, that soft stuff, I've not really looked at it. And I thought, well, I've got all this stuff, I need to be using it. And so when I saw that, I thought, that is brilliant. What a brilliant idea. Chop it up, make it tiny, then do it. And it works a treat. If I can remember who she is, because I do watch her, I'll pop her in description, because she's brilliant. So I'm curing it under my lamp. I'd forgotten I don't need the bottom on. And now it's time to assemble. Now these are a nightmare. They're tiny. I can't see where the little groove is that says here, open this bit. I tried using my nails, and of course I can't use them. I can't feel my fingertips, so I can't find it. So I'm guessing. I am just purely guessing, and I do ruin one of the rings because I guessed wrong. And I completely spread it open wrong. Always twist, never pull, because if you pull, it ruins it. So now I've got number 2 on. I'm not going to put both pizzas on because that would be silly. I think it would make it too odd. But I think that'd be alright as an earring or a necklace. It's quite cute. Or even a charm on a keyring. And I'm looking at it thinking which one I'm going to do, which one I'm going to do. And I really could do with getting myself some better pincers. I mean, I've got quite a few pincers, but none as tiny that I need. Yeah, discount codes are below. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And if you've got this far, I am so happy, because that means YouTube thinks you like me and it'll help towards the algorithm. In fact, all the liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, watching till the end really helps us channels out. And it's free. You don't pay for it. I do have a join the GERTCREATES thing. I do have buy me a coffee, and I do have an Amazon wish list. And I understand if people can't afford to do any of that. So like I said, do me the favour of the freebies. That'd be ace. But thank you very much. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I shall take some photos. And I shall see you all in the next one. Bye bye.